What a finish, what a game. Historical things are happening for the Missouri Tigers in Columbia, Missouri. However, in today's game, they go on the road to Rupp Arena in Kentucky. And for the first time ever in the house that Adolph Rupp built, the Missouri Tigers come out with a win. They go on the road to open up SEC play. They go 2-0 after this game and defeat the Kentucky Wildcats, led by Mark Pope, 73-68. Now, as we're going on the show right now, it's 8:28 p.m., Wednesday, January 7th, and the game just ended 15 to 20 minutes ago. You'll see this video early to later Thursday morning. Now, the reactions are coming live. I don't have any notes in front of me. I'm just going straight off the dome. However, I'm going to try and beat the shot clock a little bit, keep my notes short and concise so you get all the information you need. If you weren't able to watch the game, you just need to tune in to this quick episode of the Ben Drury Show. And like we do all the time on this show, we're going to talk about all things sports. So make sure you're subscribed. You can go ahead. It's a tiny little red button down there. And so with that being said, I'm Ben Drury, and this is the Ben Drury Show. So don't go anywhere. All right. This game could not have been more back and forth. You know, the finishing margin is just 5 points. So by any measure of basketball success, this was not a blowout. This was not a dominant win. This was not a necessarily, I don't know what I was going to say there. But this is not a perfect win of any standards. It's not a 10-point win where Mizzou, pulls away late, but they pull away just enough when they need to. In the closing minutes, they were down by 1 point. They get a critical 3-point shot. They take that lead. A few costly turnovers from the Wildcats give Missouri the ball back, and the opportunity with their free throw shooting was a little bit better this game. In our last episode, talking about Mizzou, I talked a lot, or just a little bit towards the end of the episode, I talked a little bit about the free throw percentage in their game against Florida. And while Mizzou was able to come away with the win in that matchup, that might not always been the case if they shoot bad free throws. In this game, they clean a lot of stuff up. They only missed 7 shots from the free throw line. 5 shots from the free throw line and shoot 13 of 18, which equates to about 72% from the line. And so that's cleaning it up at the free throw, the charity stripe, if you will. That is great free throw shooting for the Tigers. Otega Owe for the Kentucky Wildcats leads the Wildcats in all 3 categories, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. But really, Mizzou was able to limit him to, they were able to limit him well and keeping him contained, not really letting him become the game breaker and taking over the game, if you will, and truly letting Mizzou to control the destiny, not Otega Owe. And obviously it wasn't Kentucky because they were unable to come away with the win in this one. Now, as I was saying, Mizzou was able to pull away late. And really, this game is a true testament to not only Dennis Gates, but the team leadership on this roster. Why is that? There's a few moments early in the second half, and actually starting late in the first half, where Otega Owe makes this incredible half court shot to end the half and switch nothing but net, crazy shot. And one of those shots is just enough to keep a crowd that was losing at that point. And the Rupp Arena crowd was a little bit out of it at that moment in the game. And that shot from Otega Owe gave them the motivation to stick around a little bit, pay more attention, and get them in that game. So for Mizzou, Kentucky comes in the second half. They take that momentum and run. And they go on a few runs, get a good little lead. And Mizzou, in years past, and a few times, if you look at that Illinois game, in the bragging rights game, which I'm not going to talk about too much because I talked a lot about that matchup in the last episode on Mizzou basketball. And in that game, Mizzou was in the game for the first few minutes, but the second Illinois got a momentum shifting shot, Mizzou left. You might as well have called the game because there was nothing left. However, in this game, when it could have happened the same way, and this wasn't a neutral site game just like that just like the bragging rights game. This was a home game for Kentucky. So it was very, very easy for Mizzou to just hang up the shoes, hang up the basketball shoes and leave. But Dennis Gates' team was able to stay in the fight, and they were able to stay engaged, and they came away with the win, taking the punches and throwing in a few haymakers as well. And I'm just looking at the box score right now. Some key players that look out to me, that stand out to me, are this. First, we're going to think about Mark Mitchell. He plays 37 minutes. Great. Only sits 3 minutes of the game, which that is an incredible feat in its own right. And this was incredibly necessary for the Tigers. He finishes with 21 points, 7 of 15 for field goals, 1 of 1, made the 1 3-point shot that he took, and he shot well from the free throw line. He has 4 assists, so he was able to set up scoring for his other teammates very, very well, and only has 1 rebound. So that could be improved a little bit. Now, the secondary player, we are going to look at Mark Mitchell first because he's the team leader on this roster and has taken a great deal of responsibility as this is a very new team. There hasn't been too much turnover from last season to this one, but Mark Mitchell has kind of taken that role as the team leader, the Kobe Brown of this team, if you will, who was a few years ago a great leader for the Missouri Tigers. Now, I'm recording this late, so I'm going to need to get a lot of water during this episode. So, one second. Now, another player that sticks out to me is number 17, Jaden Stone. A transfer from West Virginia, and his impact on this game could not have been felt more. He gets the crucial rebound at the end of the game. He makes crucial free throws at the end of the game. So this is just a crucial guy for this Missouri roster. And it's very easy to see. He sits out a good chunk of the games this season. Mizzou hasn't been playing that well. He comes back in his first game, which was that Florida matchup. He comes back, great game in that one, and they win. He's in this game as well. Puts up 20 points, 6 of 10 shooting, 3 for 6, 3 of 6 from the 3-point line. Free throws, goes 5 for 7, has 7 rebounds, which is really the statistic that sticks out the most for me in this game for Jaden Stone. And those are all defensive rebounds, which going up against a team like Kentucky, which is a very, very tall team, Jaden Stone, a point guard, a smaller guard, getting those rebounds is very, very important for the Tigers. Now, the final player for Mizzou that sticks out is Anthony Robinson. So in this game, he takes a little bit of a backseat. He's 1 point off of getting a double-double. He has 10 assists. And really, this game was a true game that showed who Anthony Robinson is for this team. Because Mizzou doesn't always need Ant to score for the team to have success. However, they need him to facilitate the ball. And he was able to do that. The 10 assists speak for that. And so once again, his impact on this game was very, very important. Now, this is not just a Missouri Tigers show, so I'm going to show some love to Kentucky. And they shared the wealth a little bit more. All but one player, Colin Chandler was the only player on the team who, if they played, he's the only one that didn't score. Otega leads the way. He has 20 points. The next highest scorer was Jalen Lowe, who had a very crucial missed shot down the stretch. Lowe goes 1 of 5 for 3 points, which is not at all how he's been doing all season long. And just a little bit more on Otega. He has a very, very good game. He goes 3 for 4 from the 3-point line, 6 of 11 for field goals, and free throws, he goes 5 for 8. He has 5 rebounds, 4 assists. He only has 1 turnover and 4 steals. So great all around, a very, very good performance from number 00. But just to touch on it a little bit more is that Mizzou was able, and I said this after the Florida game, that in my show, and you can go back and watch it right now on the channel, I said that for Mizzou to have success down the stretch, they need to do this. They need to have offensive identity. I think they did a little bit better. They're getting there. They're making steps to get closer to that point with their team performance. But the second thing that they need to be able to do is hold teams to long possessions. Long possessions. And so that means have a player, they don't get in the paint until 5 seconds to go on the shot clock, or they're having to take not the best shots ever because they're just being forced to take them, and that's the only opportunity for them to take a shot. And Mizzou is able to do that. How do I know that? Well, one, I watched the game, and two, Mizzou holds Kentucky to just 68 points. 43% shooting, which is not a good day out in the office shooting wise. 39% from three, which isn't the worst in the world. So Mizzou definitely was able to get some wins there. It's not perfect. It's not always going to be perfect, but Mizzou is making every single game out in the past two. They're making votes going forward, to the committee, because this is all about showing. Because right now Mizzou is not going to be in the NCAA tournament. Personally, I would put them in, but Joe Lunardi, bracketology experts, they're not putting them in right now. Maybe that'll change looking after this win, and if they get a few more under their belt. But Mizzou is every single game out. After that loss to Illinois, they are every single game, they're making their case to be put in that team of 68. So some closing thoughts. I want to get out of here as quick as possible because we have another very, very large show that I did prepare for, the College Football Playoff semifinal show, which you will be able to watch in a few hours at the time that this will come out to tomorrow. But some closing thoughts, just more for Mizzou in general. Mizzou will go on next. Their next game will be up against Ole Miss. That will be on Saturday at Ole Miss, 5 p.m. And this is going to be another game. It's a good road test. Maybe not the most challenging matchup for the Tigers, but this will be a good opportunity for them to kind of get some of those things, get those wrinkles ironed out, whatever it may be, and for Dennis Gates to truly coach up his team and get those mistakes fixed and ready to go for the rest of SEC play and down the road into possibly the NCAA tournament. With that being said, that's all we have for today's episode of the Drury Show, the first of two coming out today on this Thursday, January 8th. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys subscribe. Maybe drop a comment down below if you have a question you want me to answer or anything like that. Once again, thank you so much. And with that being said, I'm Ben Drury. Have a good night.